Hello, world. My name is Connor,
I'm David.
and today we have a special drink with us, taken from the apples of, where is it? The U.S. apples in America, and today it is a special. So I want you to try this. Let me try this.
I'd be delighted to.
Oh no! I apologize, sir. We do not have a bottle opener.
I do, in my backpack.
Let
me go get it.
Allow my guests to grab the bottle opener for us. As I continue to talk about this non-alcoholic drink that is taken from... It is taken from Watsonville, California. From the apples of Watsonville, California. And we will be... It is a bubbly drink. It stimulates the bubbly taste buds. And thank you, sir. Now, I think you'll really enjoy this drink, sir. Thank you very much for being here today. Now,
My pleasure.
let us get a little pour. Ooh, bubbly. Thank you. Too much. Oh, gotta show the label. That's how the fancy people do it. That's what they gotta do in France. Mm-hmm. That's what they do. Make sure you see.
We can't make it spill over the top, though.
That's true.
Like
Cheers. Get a little aroma.
That's good.
That is so good. Martinelli's. My roommate told me about this. There's a song about it, in fact. It goes... I showed it to you at dinner, didn't I? The beat drops, but they wasn't ready. Champagne glass with that Martinelli's.
I don't remember.
I showed it at dinner. It's okay. But it's really good. Apple cider.
It's like...
Sparkling cider.
Sparkling cider, yeah.
That's what it says. It's really good.
Yeah. So I've had like some sparkling grape juice like at weddings for like the people who can't drink. But that stuff's like super strong. Mm-hmm. Really strong. This is nice.
It's like apple juice. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you want to check that song out, it's by Andy Mineo.
Not a sponsor.
He's a Christian. We're not a sponsor of either of those people.
Love this.
They're, Christian rap, right?
Yeah.
It's coming on the rise. I'm liking it. KB, Andy Mineo, Tadashi,
Christian rap. I mean,
Galvi.
Rap in general has to be done well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big rap fan, so like Christian rap I can sometimes like. Usually only when TFK does it though. And that's usually only sometimes. And it's white guy rap. Which means he speaks slow enough that I can understand him.
Nice. Okay, cool. Okay, so last week, what did we talk about last week? So was it last week we talked about
a couple weeks ago, we tried to talk about a couple saints. And we kind of mentioned a couple of them. But anyway, this week we kind of wanted to revisit that topic and look at two saints in particular. St. Francis of Assisi and St.
Padre Pio.
Padre Pio. And what's interesting about both of these men is that they both had the visible stigmata. And so we kind of wanted to look at that a little bit.
For those of you who don't know what the visible stigmata is, it's basically you unite yourself so close with Christ's suffering on the cross that you literally receive like the nail wounds in your hands, your side, your feet. Some people receive it only in their hands. Some people receive it and they're only on their side. Some people only their feet. Yeah. Some people combination.
There have been a couple hundred cases of it over the centuries. Over 80% of those cases have been in women. Not a lot of men. Most of them in Europe. And what what I remember hearing at one point was that only St. Francis Assisi and Padre Pio had all 5 visible stigmata wounds. We tried to do some research, and most people just like put stigmata in there for any type of wound that Christ had.
So we couldn't really tell
who
had like the full stigmata.
It's hard to tell, and there have been some cases of some people who have faked the stigmata wounds on like self-inflicted.
Yeah.
So that makes it just a little hard to kind of track down like what all the cases might be.
Right. So basically, these 2 are the only ones as of now, we kind of know that they received the full stigmata that is visible.
Yep.
As well as some other interesting facts about them. Yep. So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can start.
All right, cool.
Okay, so St. Francis of Assisi, you all probably know the basic story, and if not, you could Google it real quick, but
the cider is bubbly.
It just came up my nose. Okay, so 2 years before St. Francis died, he went to Mount Alverna on a 40-day fast retreat with some of his fellow monks. And it was during that time, during prayer, that he saw a seraphim flying towards him at one point. And the seraphim also he could see the wounds, the only thing you could see from the seraphim the wounds shining through. And when the angel was gone, St. Francis felt a very severe burning sensation in his hands, in his feet, in his side. They say he could actually see red hot nails.
Ooh.
Coming through his hands all the way through. And after the sensation was over, he was left with the 5 wounds of Christ, which continued to bleed. The wounds would reopen and bleed for the next 2 years of his life.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez, that is bubbly cider. Excuse me.
Okay, so that's his basic story. I don't know if you want to go into Padre Pio's story, and then we can kind of just
Sure. Okay, so I read a book recently over the summer called Secrets of a Soul. I don't know the exact title. It's Secrets of the Soul. It's basically Padre Pio's life, and it's not explaining what happened in his life, but instead it took the letters that he wrote to his spiritual directors meaning he had they switched, but basically those letters that he wrote to his spiritual directors, they compiled them all into this book, and it's really cool. There's some parts where he explains the feeling, because it was during, I think, if I say this right, if I'm right about this, it was during adoration that he received the non-visible wounds. Mm-hmm. But then over time, I think the wounds appeared. I can't say for sure on that.
So he felt the pain.
He felt the pain first. They were not even there though.
Yeah. So
but then it was ecstasy afterwards. Apparently, something like that.
So that's kind of the distinction between visible stigmata as opposed to invisible.
Yeah, St. Francis of Assisi.
There have been plenty of saints, plenty of women saints especially, who have had the invisible stigmata. So they've felt the pain. St. Teresa of Avila, I think, felt a lance pierce her heart, but there was no visible wound.
So that's basically his story. But one of the things that I found that was really, really cool was that there was another wound that he had that was so basically during his life, there was they call it his secret wound because he didn't really talk about it. The only person he really talked about it to was Pope St. John Paul II. And so he basically talked to him about it, but let's see here. Oh wait, hang on. And that might be okay. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because sometimes I read this and it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. But basically, this guy named Brother Modestino, Modestino, was part of the friary that he was a part of, and so he worked with Padre Pio, I think, and then says he saw him change his vestments and stuff like that, and one day Padre Pio felt this sharp pain, and he like took off this vestment, but he didn't really ask. He probably thought it was from the side, the side wound. Mm-hmm. But after Saint Padre Pio died, the brother looked at the garments, because as they were selling the garments. The brother looked at the garments, and on the shoulder blade, there were bleed marks, and like this 4 inches on the, similar to the Shroud of Turin, like you were saying before this video, but and so he was unsure. Obviously, you could be a little skeptical. Like that could have been, from his side. He could have rubbed on his side or something.
Could have come self-shaving.
Exactly. Anything could have happened. So he was like, okay, well, I need to make sure this is the wound that Padre Pio had while he's alive. And so he said, basically, he's like, one night, he wrote this in like a journal or something like that. It says, one night before I went to sleep, I made a petition to him in prayer, meaning he was praying to Padre Pio, asking to make sure that it was a wound. He said, "Dear Father, if you really had that wound, give me a sign." And then I went to sleep. But at 1:05 in the morning, a sharp and sudden pain in my shoulder awakened me from a tranquil sleep. It was as if someone had taken a knife and stripped the flesh from my shoulder blade. There was more, but basically, he explains, he asked Padre Pio for a sign to make sure that Padre Pio had that wound while he was alive. And he got it.
He got it
while he
what
was sleeping.
you asked for.
So that's pretty crazy. That's literally Padre Pio carrying Christ's cross.
Yeah. And let's speed it up. We've been there a little bit. Okay, so basically, I want to take a couple minutes to try to talk about maybe why the significance of the stigmata.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so from a couple things that I've read, it kind of sounds like the stigmata is kind of like joining the saint to Christ, but like outside of heaven. So it's not like the complete like perfect union like you would have in heaven, but it's a way for the divine to be made present on earth, and for you to share in Christ's passion, like here on earth, which is an incredible gift for a saint to have. I mean, like, imagine when Saint Peter kind of said, "I'm not worthy to be crucified, to die the way that my Christ was." He didn't feel worthy to share in what Christ went through, but Christ is here giving saints the ability to experience what he have, go through the same thing he did on a day-by-day basis. And when you think about that, that's like a pretty crazy and profound thing for a mere human to be able to do.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also kind of we can get into the whole idea of your suffering here on earth can shorten your time in purgatory.
Yeah.
But they were saints, so they probably didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But
well, I don't know who's to say.
But just think about the idea of carrying the wounds of Christ. What a gift that would be. It would be a tremendous suffering, of course, but
how close you would understand and realize that you are close to Christ. But and again, we're human,
yeah.
So the book I was talking about, he was saying how he, even though he knew it was close, Saint Padre Pio was close to the cross, he says that there were times when about the Dark Night. We'll get into that in a different video, but he would feel the suffering mentally too. He would
definitely.
Feel he was not enough at all.
Yeah.
Which is really sad, but really awesome because they're in heaven.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. Cool. Yeah. You want to say anything else?
Oh, we probably could go on about this if we had more time, done more research, but I think we should end that there for now.
Cool. Well,
right. Have a good night.
Sleep well if you're watching this at night.
Don't wake up with any sharp pains.
Yeah, you don't want that.